Boom. So that's 3 black young fighters working with Jake Paul to try to beat Tank. Now, I know some of y'all talking about, oh, but ego, what do you mean a double standard? Montana Love to Ray Ford to definitely Shakur Stevenson. They all seem jealous of Tank from the beginning and went off like, had beefs with Tank. I don't know how else to say it.
Raymond Ford in the 130-pound weight class. We got Montana Love in. Shakur Stevenson is coming in this week.
Shakur wants to fight Tank. That's what he says. So just based on conflict of interest, if you said you weren't going to even watch the Jake Paul Tank fight, just a curious question from Ego. Why would you help assist somebody to try to beat the guy that you want to beat? We unpack. We unpack. We unpack. Coming to you live, Boxing Ego Unpack. Yeah. We unpack. We unpack. We unpack. Coming to you live. You want me to respect this? Nah, man. We can't do it. Jake Paul is using prominent black fighters, lighter division black fighters, as he prepares for an upcoming Gervonta Tank Davis fight. In this video, I will break down the double standards. You knew I was coming. The prodigal son has returned. So stay tuned. I'll, as always, make my complete case. Y'all ain't gonna do a thing about it, but enjoy this video. Let's go. What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. Now, I gotta get unpacked because I've noticed the inconsistencies in the game, and it's rather appalling. I'm a man on a mission, so we gonna get set up, and I'll let you know exactly what I'm talking about. But I've complained about this several times on my channel, and at this point, it don't look like it's gonna stop because there's too much BS in the game, for real, right? So Jake Paul did a brand new interview. This is what he had to say. Roll the clip.
How do you prepare for a guy that's different stature-wise?
Yeah, no, we have world champions. Raymond Ford in the 130-pound weight class. We got Montana Love in. Shakur Stevenson is coming in this week. So
Wow.
Just sparring against guys on their level and people who have, been doing this their whole entire lives. But we're really focusing on speed and not as much on power. I'm not doing as much like weightlifting and all of that stuff. I'm actually trying to like lose some muscle so that I have less weight and so that my punches are coming off faster.
So Jake Paul, nothing wrong with what he said. It's the truth.
Different stature-wise.
Yeah, no, we have world champions. Raymond Ford in the 130-pound weight class. We got Montana Love in. Shakur Stevenson is coming in this week.
Boom. So that's 3 black young fighters working with Jake Paul to try to beat Tank. Now, I know some of y'all talking about, oh, but ego, what do you mean a double standard? Let me break it down because there's a couple. For one, remember when Gervonta Ennis of Philly worked with Canelo Alvarez, right? Worked with Canelo Alvarez. Canelo was getting ready, preparing for Terrence Crawford. And you had content creators who pushed this narrative that Gervonta Ennis did something wrong, or he was a sellout or a bootlicker or a COO, right? Because he was working with the ops to try to cheat a black man in Terrence Crawford, to try to beat or whatever, try to beat him, and you were working with Canelo, and you had content creators, they were pushing this hard line that Gervonta Ennis somehow did something wrong by accepting a fight. And in my videos, I told you, he's a businessman. He's a business. He's a brand. He don't owe nothing to Crawford. If anything, he himself was trying to fight Crawford. So why would he not work with a legend of the sport like Canelo Alvarez? That situation absolutely made no sense to criticize Jaron Boots Ennis. Yet and still, you got low quality content available online, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, and this is what people be pushing, right? And they'll be like, oh, he did something wrong. Why did Jaron Ennis work with Canelo? I thought you supposed to be FBA, all this like goofy stuff, right? But now, you know, a lot of those fake like FBA dudes that be like pushing these weirdo lines, right? When it's not even relevant. I'm not mad if you have pride in being black. That's common sense. But when you start trying to pick at something that's not even there and make something a racial issue that really isn't, like, what are we talking about? So one double standard is the fact of Tank Davis, a black man from Baltimore, is getting ready to fight, and you have Montana Love, Ray Ford, and Shakur Stevenson who are coming to help him try to beat Tank. So a former Disney kid, a former YouTuber turned boxer, Caucasian man, right? Trump supporter, whatever. MAGA, they are linking up with Jake Paul to assist him. So the real point I'm making here is what happened to the same individuals that criticized Jaron Boots Ennis and called him all types of names. Like, you literally had fans, and it's not just content creators. There were fans. You also had fans who were saying, oh man, Jaron Boots Ennis, he's trying to help Canelo. He missed me with this move. I'm no longer a Jaron Boots Ennis fan, yada, yada, yada. And I'm like, this is stupid. Boots is a businessman. He's a brand. He got an opportunity. His brother had been working with Canelo well before a Crawford fight. So there's some history there. But fast forward to the future. Now that Jake Paul, and he's already said this before, Jake Paul said Shakur and all these other guys were going to be in this camp. So Jake Paul kept it trill. It is what it is. The point I'm making is the people who complained about Boots helping a rival to beat a black fighter, where are they now? VH1, where are they now? Now that Ray Ford, who's had beef with Tank, Shakur Stevenson, who has had beef with Tank, and I believe Montana Love has had beef with Tank, they're all getting a check to help Jake Paul try to beat Tank in an exhibition. They never helped Jake Paul for any other fight that I'm aware of. Definitely not Shakur or Ray Ford that I've ever heard of. I mean, why would he? If you're training for Mike Tyson, why would you be sparring with Ray Ford? You know what I mean? Like a 130 pounder or whatever. That don't really make sense. You preparing for a heavyweight, so you're going to spar someone that light. I mean, unless you're just trying to get rounds, but whatever. Anyway, so that's one issue that is going on here, right? People complained when it was Jaron Ennis helping Canelo. They made content, they made remark. Fans said that they can no longer respect Jaron Ennis for trying to help Canelo beat. Because at the end of the day, it didn't matter anyway. Crawford won. You know, sparring is sparring. You help prepare someone and you keep it pushing. Jaron, he won his fight. Canelo didn't. You know what I mean? You help ready somebody, get them as ready as possible, and then you move on with your own personal career if you're an active fighter, which Boots is. But the point I'm making is people really made this into a big deal, but now this information has been out. Leave it to Boxing Ego to say something. I told you with Boots, it was stupid to get mad. This is boxing. Boxers of all walks of life. I've even seen intergender sparring, seen it, where a female sparred a man, right? And I'm not talking about like a female who's transitioning or something. I'm talking about someone who identifies as a female spar with someone who's born and identified as a man. I've seen it. I've seen, you know, black guys fight Mexican guys in the gym or Argentine guys or whatever, right? and so on, and white guys, whatever. You know what I mean? This is boxing. You're there to do a job. It's a job. It's like I've had jobs, and I've had jobs where I pretty much work with. I'm in the Bay Area, bro. We multicultural. It's a melting pot out here, bro. Yee. So I grew up with all types of people. My dad was in the military. Being in the military, being on the military base at points of my life, right? You grow around everyone. So it's not even the issue that I'm just talking about the double standards, how people said Jaron was wrong to try to help to beat a black fighter. All these fake pro-black channels that ain't really pro-black. That's my issue. Number 2, Jake Paul, you know, he's keeping it real. I mean, he's training. He got money. He got influence. And, you know, he bringing out who he feels he needs to beat Tank. Now, there is a criticism with the people involved specifically when it comes to Tank, right? And I think there's a deeper storyline. Whereas people tried to force it with Boots. Like, Boots don't owe Canelo or Crawford anything. He didn't have like I said, Boots to this day, allegedly, you know, he's still trying to fight Crawford. So why is he not going to spar and take an opportunity for Crawford's sake? But this is what people try to push. Fast forward to the future. The reason why it looks bad for Shakur Stevenson, which is my issue number 2. Damn, my camera is clear. Y'all know I'm giving y'all high quality content. If you enjoy boxing news, boxing talk, subjects like this and others, high quality, not this low quality slop that you're seeing online, but real boxing. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel. Best in the business. And it's not even close. Now, let's address the elephant in the room with Shakur Stevenson. This is different than that whole, and I'm pretty sure I articulately just broke it down, that why Jaron Boots Ennis sparring with Canelo was a non-issue. He's trying to fight Crawford. His family has history with Canelo. It happened. Done. But Shakur keeps saying he want to fight Tank, but then you sparring with somebody bigger than Tank to try to help him. It looks really thirsty and it looks really weird. I can go deeper. I can go much deeper. Pause. Shakur, when Jake Paul and Tank was first announced, this is what Shakur had to say about the matchup. Roll the clip.
Will you watch, Shakur? I mean,
No.
obviously, no?
Hell no, nah, that ain't really like.
Will you watch, Shakur? I mean,
No.
obviously, no?
Hell no, nah, that ain't really like.
Bro, get Shakur out of here. TMZ said, will you watch Jake Paul versus Tank? He said, F nah. Heck nah. Nah, I ain't even watching the fight, says Shakur Stevenson, right? You're not even watching the fight. So let Shakur tell it. He has no interest in a Jake Paul fight. And he was talking down on the Jake Paul fight. Now, I just showed you the clip. I just told you. And I just showed you. Now you have Shakur singing a completely different tune, right? Shakur, somebody posted Jake Paul saying that Shakur is going to be in camp this week, right? Shakur seen the post on social media. It says Jake Paul will be sparring against Shakur Stevenson this week to prepare for Gervonta Davis. The man Shakur said, fire. I get a chance to pick a great business mind brain. It's really weird how he said it. Business mind brain. Isn't mind and a brain like the same? Whatever. Fire. I get the chance to pick a great business mind brain and help give him some game in the process. I'm down. Oh, we know you're down. So for one, you look like you hating on Tank, bro. Like you specifically. Two, this is the same guy that said he's not watching the fight, but now you're somewhat taking part in the fight because you're trying to gather or help prepare Jake Paul for the fight. And then this is what Shakur Stevenson does, in my opinion. Shakur will make questionable choices, do certain things, right? And then afterwards, he'll be like, yeah, now that I got y'all attention, y'all, I got everybody mad at me. Bro, the stuff you're doing is weird. You know what I mean? And it's almost like, to me, it's almost close to like Karen behavior, in the sense that Karens, you see some of these Karens and they do all this extra stuff and then act like the victim. And I told you that's one of the main problems with Gen Z, right? Where Gen Z, they will do just weird things, make weird choices, make weird decisions, and then they'll act like, man, I'm Tupac, me against the world, everybody's against me. Everybody's not against you. You're just doing weird things. You're making weird decisions, it's weird behavior, so on and so forth. So let's ultimately recap. We got to do the Boxing Ego recap to see what's really going on here. Right now, I'm on Ray Ford's page, right? Ray Ford, another black fighter, and look, he's helping Jake Paul. So where's all the controversy? Where's all the hate that people have for Boots when you now see Ray Ford, who has dissed Tank, and he's out here helping Jake Paul? Like, you're helping a cruiserweight heavyweight to try to beat Tank. Like, it's crazy. The hate is supreme. Look, training with Jake Paul. Look, there's Montana Love. Look, and they chumming it up and stuff. I'm training with Jake Paul. So you got the three musketeers, Ray Ford, Montana Love, and Shakur Stevenson, you know, and they're all like Voltroning it, joining forces to try to help Jake Paul, who's already huge and way bigger than Tank. And I'm just being real, like size wise, right? And you guys are all like in camp taking the opportunity, like, yeah, da. But again, where are all those people that hate Tank, but they liked pretty much Shakur and Devin and stuff like that? Where are they? Like, they're not saying nothing. The people that criticize Jerron Boots, Ennis, ain't saying nothing. And again, it looks bad because all three of these guys, from Montana Love to Ray Ford to definitely Shakur Stevenson, they all seem jealous of Tank from the beginning and went off, like, had beefs with Tank. I don't know how else to say it. Pretty much had beefs. And now you working with Tank's next opponent. Tank was right, man, when he said boxing is trash right now and he don't care, like, he don't care about retirement. Look at the game. Look at the game. Like, people, you got people in the game, right? And I feel like there's a lot of shortcutting in the sport of boxing right now. I really do. A lot of shortcuts where people in the game, they could be great fighters. I'm not taking that away from them. Could be a great fighter, but they don't know anything about branding. So maybe they need to spend time with Jake Paul just for that. But a lot of these fighters, they're not doing the right things with branding, and they're trying to use beef or clout chase to amp their brand, hate, you know what I mean? And then you do questionable decisions. Ultimately, you're not going to really gain any fans from moving like this, in my opinion. Like, for example, Shakur wants to fight Tank. That's what he says. So just based on conflict of interest, if you said you weren't going to even watch the Jake Paul Tank fight, just a curious question from Ego, why would you help assist somebody to try to beat the guy that you want to beat? Does that make sense? I don't understand it. That's what I'm saying. Gen Z is ruining boxing right now. I'm just gonna be real. More people than not are not helping. Like, for example, David Benavidez, right? We'll liken Shakur Stevenson. I'm not saying he fight like David Benavidez, but hear me out. Just hear me out. In this analogy, David Benavidez, we know, was trying to fight Canelo Alvarez. So that would be like Benavidez getting in camp with Terrence Crawford, getting in camp with Billy Joe Saunders, getting in camp with Caleb Plant, getting in camp with whoever, Jaime Munguia or Edgar Berlanga, to try to beat Canelo or to train with these guys in their camp right before they're about to fight against Canelo Alvarez. Where they do that at? In my opinion, I'm not saying that David Benavidez would never get in the gym and work with some of these guys, but I don't know that Benavidez, who himself wanted to fight Canelo, I really don't believe he would get in somebody's Canelo camp because they got the Canelo fight and try to assist them in beating the guy that he wants to fight. Don't you see how this makes boxing kind of look weak? You know what I mean? That's like Tom Aspinall in the UFC. He wanted to fight John Jones. That's like him getting in Stipe Miocic's camp to try to beat John Jones. It kind of looked weird, but that's exactly what Shakur is doing. Shakur, on one hand, he's saying Tank's name every interview, saying he wants to fight Tank, and that's a big future fight, the biggest fight in boxing. But Tank's doing his exhibition with a cruiserweight heavyweight, and you're going and lending your skill, knowledge, or whatever to help him try to achieve his goals, which would be keep the gravy train rolling and beat Tank. I don't really understand it. For me, like, it's not even on no envy or jealous stuff. It's just like, it is more so to do with, like, David Benavidez, I feel like would be like, I was trying to fight Canelo. You know what I mean? Like, that's the fight. I wanted to fight Canelo for me. I'm enough of a brand where I don't really have to be someone's sparring partner, let alone be their sparring partner as they got the golden ticket because Canelo be cherry picking and they get the Canelo fight. I don't know. You let me know in the comment section if it's making sense to you. But for me, I don't really understand the logic from Shakur, who, again, said he's not watching the fight, says that he wants the Tank fight really bad, always mentions Tank, but then you're trying to help somebody else beat him. You know what I mean? And I don't know. Maybe they believe Tank's going to retire, so they don't care, and they're just like, oh, whatever. I don't know. It's hard to tell. It's hard to tell what people's motive is. But for me, it looks like jealousy. These dudes have all taken shots, and now they like band together to try to take down Tank. Like, Tank got to be this generation's Floyd Mayweather. The level of hate that he receives is no one else is getting it. No one. I refuse to believe. Like, you go to Max Kellerman's show, they talk about Tank, his resume, blah, 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 just goofy stuff. Then you got Voltron over here trying to assemble and unite forces. You know, the friend of my enemy is my friend and all that stuff. They all working together to try to help Jake Paul to dethrone. The game looked goofy. I ain't even going front. Like, and then on top of that, like, the fight is what it is. But the fight that there's the fact that there's this like weight disparity between Jake Paul and Tank already makes the fight weird to me. And then on top of that, you got all these skilled black fighters who are like lending their services and times, and they're like just happy being sparring partners almost. I don't know, man. Let me know what you think. To me, it looked goofy. The game looked truly goofy. Like, Floyd Mayweather wanted to fight Pacquiao. He not getting in camp with Joshua Clottey to try to have Clottey beat Pacquiao. It sounds dumb to me. He not getting in camp. Do you understand? Like, I feel like there's certain movements in boxing that move the needle. This ain't one of them. I can't picture a Floyd Mayweather. It wouldn't happen because part of what I'm saying is the branding. Floyd Mayweather is such a brand. He knows his worth. He's not going to get in camp with Shane Mosley because Mosley got the Pacquiao fight before him and then help Mosley or rest in peace Ricky Hatton and try to help these guys to defeat Pacquiao. He himself wanted Pacquiao on his ledger. Pacquiao just had to take the test. Now, what also, to me, I got to keep it real because we unpacked. On my show, Unpacked, I give it to you raw. I'm going to give it to you how you want. I'm going to give it to you how you like it. I don't know who you beat. I don't know who you lost to. I don't know who you beat. I don't know who you lost to. I'm going to give it to you how you like. Toe to toe, I'm going to give it to you how you want. Burger King, you can have it your way. The other thing that looks extremely lame is Shakur Stevenson was one of the people out of so many people in the sport of boxing. When Jake Paul and Tank were announced, he said he's not watching it. And he said it was a circus. Like, all these people came out and they're like, why should we watch this? This is a circus fight. This is not true boxing. Tank is tripping. Oh, if that was me, I wouldn't even took this fight. This is what Shakur said. Shakur said, if it was me and I just came off a draw with Lamont Roach, I would have took the Lamont Roach fight. I would have been up in there with Lamont Roach and not fighting no Jake Paul because I'm all about honor. I'm all about creed. Bro, this is fake. This is fake. If you're about honor and you're about creed, remember, I told you from the beginning, notice Boxing Ego. Every single word I utter, every single thing I said is consistent through in and throughout. I personally said it's a weird fight for me. You know, because the weight disparity, right? If they were closer in weight, it would have made more sense. But I said I understand the fight. They're going to make a ton of money, and Canelo was supposed to be here fighting Jake Paul, but then he bowed down to the Saudis and did a 4-fight deal. So they're looking for the next in line. Jake Paul fought Chavez Jr., then got him deported or whatever happened, and then now he needed a big fight for Netflix, so they looked Tank's way. It's what happened, period. But that's my opinion. Notice, to this day, Wilder voice, to this day, my opinion has not changed one iota. But these other haters, their opinion has. Shakur was calling it a circus fight, said he's not watching the fight, couldn't understand. And it's not just Shakur. I'm talking about boxing, but specifically Shakur is included. They were saying, oh, even though it's 40 or 50 mil, I wouldn't have took this fight. Right? So this is what I don't like about people. Do you understand the intelligence that ego has? My mental dexterity is crazy. You are not going to play me a fool. You mean to tell me that people were saying boxers, they would not take 40 or 50 million to fight on Netflix and have a big fight with Jake Paul, right? This is what you wanted to convince me. You wouldn't do that for 40 to 50 million on Netflix versus Jake Paul and get a bag. You weren't willing to do that, but you're willing to spar him behind the scenes for a lot less. I know Jake Paul got money. He is not paying you 40 to 50 million for him to fight, and none of us get to watch it. None of us have seen the Ray Ford and Jake Paul. We won't see full-on sparring sessions of Shakur and Jake Paul, etc. So these dudes convinced you that Tank was in the wrong with a circus fight, and they would not do it because they had so much integrity, so much pride, right? That they would not fight on Netflix for $40 to $50 million, the rumored amount, give or take, right, to fight Jake Paul. They weren't willing to do that on Netflix for that crazy bag, but they're willing to help Jake Paul for a lot less money and behind the scenes, not on Netflix, for what? To try to help him beat Tank? Bro, this is perhaps some of the lamest stuff we done seen. Let me recap. You had individuals trying to dump on the fight, claiming it was a nonsense fight that they weren't watching. Shakur said that. He also said that him as a fighter, he would have fought Roach in a rematch, given the somewhat controversy or the knee or whatever, instead of fighting for 40, 50 mil on Netflix. But now you're not fighting Jake Paul for even 1 million. Jake Paul is not going to give no Shakur Stevenson $1 million to show up and spar him. I highly, highly doubt that. And even if he did give him $1 million, 40 million is 40x the $1 million. So that's just stupid anyway. It's nowhere near what Tank or Jake is going to make to fight. But again, I'm exposing the game. I'm exposing the fakeness in boxing. These are the same people that hate on Tank and tried to convince you that they were above it. They were above a Jake Paul fight on Netflix for a crazy bag, crazy exposure, and $40 to $50 million, but they're not above it to spar the muff behind the scenes for less than $1 million, I would imagine. Make it make sense. It's like Tupac Shakur said, somebody got to explain why I ain't got Bro, I can't be beat. My logic is impeccable. My defense is impeccable. I'm just ferocious. I want it hard. I want to eat it. Praise be to Allah. Bro, I can't be outmatched. I can't be outthought. These same individuals hated on the fight, yet they're right here in Jake Paul's gym, getting flew out and helping him train and helping him prepare, but be the same ones that had an issue with the fight to begin with. So you wouldn't fight him for an actual fight, an exhibition in front of the cameras for 40, 50 mil, but you're willing to fight with him because that's, in essence, that's what sparring is. Sparring is you're basically fighting in a preparatory way to ready you for a fight. So I can't respect it, bro. Y'all can say whatever y'all want. This is super corny. You called it a circus, but then you went and put the clown makeup on and the red nose and joined the circus then, because you're sparring him. You're sparring him, right? So all that Tank hate, I tried to tell y'all, and now y'all look, the Shakur Stevenson, the Shakurs are super quiet. They super quiet right now, right? Because this is why, and again, when I go back to the low quality content available on the internet, this is how you guys have been bamboozled by the false prophets. I made people want to do this in the digital space and speak boxing. The problem is I have the ultimate job security because they don't do it like Boxing Ego. You got people who are flip-floppers, fair weather fans. Like a month ago when the fight was announced, or 2 months, or whenever they announced Jake Paul Tank, people had all this negative stuff to say. Now you got people helping Jake Paul to try to beat him. Like, what part of the game is that, bro? And then they say boxing is a brotherhood. So you're basically siding with the Nickelodeon YouTuber and the YouTube side, the guy who's fresh or new to boxing, Jake Paul. That's a fact. He's not been boxing as long as Tank or as long as Shakur, So you're helping the white boy who came into boxing a few years ago, right? So it just looks weird. And then to top it off, we're also talking about people who have heavily hated on Tank in interviews. Like Shakur, he's just too inconsistent. I try to warn you. Shakur would be like, man, I'm done talking about Tank. I'm done talking about Tank. You know, it's over. Don't ask me about Tank. The man said, don't ask me about Tank. See, this is why I can't be outthought. There's no boxer, there's no boxing channel, there's no media member that's gonna outthink Boxing Ego. It's not gonna happen. The man said, and my memory's too great for these dudes to up with me anyway. My man, I forget more than they ever knew. So let's get this straight. Shakur Stevenson said that he was done talking about Tank. Look it up. I'm done talking about Tank. I don't want to talk about this month no more. Stop asking me. If you really meant it, why would you jump in camp with Jake Paul as he prepares for a big fight against Tank? If you really didn't want to be associated with Tank, you didn't want no Tank questions asked of you, right? Maybe not get involved. Maybe not get involved. Because clearly, if you don't want to be involved with Tank, you're not going to get involved in Tank business, which happens right now to be a Jake Paul fight. You see what I'm talking about? You see what it don't even make sense. Like, if Floyd Mayweather was like, don't mention Pacquiao, I'm done talking about Pacquiao. But then he hopped in camp with Shane Mosley as Shane Mosley was preparing for Pacquiao. Then of course people are going to keep bringing up Pacquiao because you're trying to help Shane Mosley beat Pacquiao and people wanted to see you fight him. So more so than Montana Love and Ray Ford, them too, but Shakur just looked bad. All the way around, full stop. Shakur looked bad here because he was the same person like, don't connect my name to Tank no more. I don't want nothing to do with that. He weak, blah, 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 da, 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 da. And he's trying to fight him, but then now you're trying to help someone in camp to beat him. Like, again, it's not even just like, oh, Jake Paul's a Caucasian fighter, or Jake Paul's MAGA, or Jake Paul is the Nickelodeon YouTube guy. It's not even just those things, right? It's also the fact that if I have a goal and somebody else, we all got goals. Cool. Some people achieve their goals, others don't. If your goal is to prove to the world that you have the skills to beat Tank and become the face of boxing or whatever, I really wouldn't try to help somebody else realize their goals because it conflicts with my goal. Does that make sense? Like, not even on no hating stuff. If I, like, for example, I don't even want to go too deep into it, but there's a YouTube channel early on and Boxing Ego got offered to be a part of another boxing channel, meaning go to the fights under that channel's brand and put out content for that channel. That's an immediate conflict of interest because I knew I was going to blow up. I knew I was doing my own boxing channel. So if I went at the time and let's say went to a Broner fight and Broner said something crazy, I would want to put that on my channel, not the channel that I'm working for. So it was an immediate conflict of interest. So it never happened. I decided to do things the hard way and the long way to build up my rep and build up my own brand because I didn't want to jump off nobody's back and be like, oh, I got this person there. So I just did it from the mud. That's why nobody could tell me nothing now. You see what I'm saying? So for me, the reason I'm bringing this up is because I had the opportunity to join forces, which would have helped somebody else's vision, goals, vision board, right? But it would have put my stuff on the back burner because I'm out here shooting content under your brand, your imprint, when I should be building my own. So for me, I'm very cautious about that, which is why I made the decision to stay solo and do it the hard way and the long way, as opposed to like try to shortcut it by working with a different company and all that. So as it pertains to Shakur, if your goal was truly to fight Tank, why would you help another person realize their dreams? Like Jake Paul's dream is to beat Tank because he already got the fight. The fight's already done. So now his next goal is to try to beat a boxer that's undefeated. Right? So Shakur, by doing this lame move, is essentially you're helping somebody else's dream when it directly conflicts, at least from what you told us, it directly conflicts with your dream, with your goal. Don't you all see the problem? So this new generation, I told you, they weren't doing boxing no favors. Now you see it. This is extremely weak to me, bro. Extremely weak. And some people are going to be like, oh, you're scared because all this talent is helping Jake Paul. Why would I be scared? That just sounds stupid. But I know I've done this long enough, so I know how people think. Oh, you're just mad because these guys are helping Jake Paul to beat. He's going to beat Tank. He beats Tank. He beats Tank. It is what it is. Like the exhibition. I don't even think it counts on their record. So who cares? Like, what are we talking about? My paycheck finna be fat. I don't really care about it. Whoever wins is going to win. I'm not God. I don't try to play God in these situations. But this is what I was talking about. Gen Z, the moves they make, and then they cry foul. But it's like, look at the moves you're making, bro. Like another sub point back to the branding with Shakur. I wouldn't want to be Jake Paul's wingman. Like a man, like it's like going to the bar and you're going to the bar with Michael B. Jordan or prime Brad Pitt or something, and the ladies like him, and he popping at the girl, and you playing the wingman, and you setting it up. You pss, pss, hey, my friend want to talk to you. What do you get from that? What do you get? Like, I ain't never been a wingman like that, right? Like, when me and my partners went out, you got to keep what you catch. Like, you got to hunt down your own chick, pop at her your own way, get her number from Mouthpiece. You see what I'm saying? Like, what do I look like being a wingman? Like, pss, pss, hey, and then my boy get to hit because I helped assisted him. But then what about me? I'm just like, I ain't got no date. I ain't got no motion. Like, this generation is weird, bro. You're helping another person, right? You're helping another person with their goal that directly conflicts with your goal. For what? Like Shakur, I'm sure he got paid good for Zepeda. I don't know what Jake Paul pays for sparring. Maybe it's pretty good. I don't know. You know what I mean? But what? To fly to Puerto Rico or wherever he's training, like, and be a part of a fight that you said was a circus fight, that it was a BS fight that you weren't going to watch. I don't understand the motivation. So for me, I would think about it because I always, no matter what, people will say whatever they want about me. Why haven't I had to delete videos and I've been around online longer than all these dudes? I never had to make no apology video. I'm not apologizing. I'm not taking down no video. And I've been here. You see what I'm saying? Because I get it right the first time. So there ain't no reason for that. Why would I have to take something down? I ain't do nothing wrong. I treat everybody with respect. People treat me with respect. We good. I don't got to apologize. I don't got to take nothing down. But part of that is I always consider my brand from the beginning. Like some people, they don't treat it serious. And then they got to go back when they start popping and they got to delete a whole bunch of videos because they were saying out of pocket stuff, cancel culture will come back and get them. You know what I mean? I don't have that because I said it right back then. Whatever I wanted to say, it was valid. I said it. I worded it perfectly. So I don't got to do the work. I believe in doing the work once so you don't have to do the work twice. And that's how I get down. I don't have to keep doing the same work or go back and delete videos, delete tweets. Oh man, I said this in 2012. I don't say nothing that I really regret that I'm going to take down. You know what I mean? So back to the branding before I go on a super rant is the branding side of it. You got to look at your brand. You helping Jake Paul for what? To help him with an exhibition that ultimately gets Tank paid, gets Jake Paul paid, doesn't go on their record. Like, what is Shakur from a branding perspective? What do you really benefit? What happened to Teofimo? That's why that's why I told you, I'm not believing in nothing until it's done and we get like a press conference. You supposed to be fighting Teofimo Lopez. The world thinks T.O. talking about Pacquiao and you and all this crazy stuff. And you up here getting ready to spar with Jake Paul. What about your own brand? See, that's I would have an issue with that at a certain level where you're being brought in as a sparring partner to an A-side guy. I wouldn't want to be labeled as that. I wouldn't want to be known as like, I'm being brought in for somebody else's sparring. that shows to me, Jake Paul's big, Tank's big, but you not big like that. Because if you big, you the one bringing in people for sparring. Like Conor McGregor brought in Paulie Malignaggi. Paulie Malignaggi couldn't bring in Conor McGregor to get ready for one of his fights. You know what I mean? So you kind of minimize and relegate your brand to like a B-side type of brand when you get brought in, you get flew out as a sparring partner. Now, I'm not against it if you're on the way up, because some people make great money as sparring partners. But when you a big league, you ain't nobody's sparring partner. Like when you get to Terrence Crawford, Andre Ward, Floyd Mayweather, when the last time, like Crawford will spar with people, don't get that twisted, but that's on his dime. Like he wants to spar and brought his gear. You know what I mean? He not getting brought in because somebody need a switch hitter. You see what I'm saying? It's like more collaborative. Like when you get to a certain level, that's what sparring becomes more collaborative than anything. This ain't a collaboration. Jake Paul is the king and he using y'all as sparring partners to give him a look. So yeah, it looked bad for Shakur. Let me know what you think. We unpacked. Live streaming can be tough, which is why I use StreamYard. Click the link in the description for StreamYard, which is an awesome tool that enables you to set up your stream with ease of use. Get great results with live streaming. It's what I use. Stream to social media with ease with StreamYard. Live streaming is here to stay. Engage with your audience using StreamYard. Great way to reach out to your audience and connect. So you need a tool that can do that. If you're new to YouTube and you're struggling to get views, one tool I can provide to you is TubeBuddy. I've been on YouTube over 10 years. I use TubeBuddy daily to crank out videos just like this one that you're watching. Learn how the pros do it with TubeBuddy. YouTube receives a lot of traffic, which also means a lot of creators, a lot of people putting out content. So you need to learn the ropes so you know how to separate yourself, especially if you're new. But even if you're a pro, use TubeBuddy. The link is in the description. Get more views, more subscribers, and a higher click-through rate. So ultimately you can realize all of your online goals. Use my affiliate link in the description and grow your channel fast.